Hello, hello, welcome to Life and Destiny Palmistry and at Palm Readings on YouTube, streaming to Facebook and YouTube today. I hope that you will enjoy today's palmistry lesson and live Q&A. So if you are joining me, you're welcome to ask questions. You can interrupt me. I might keep babbling on, but you got anything you want to know about palmistry, I'm here to help. Real life answers from myself, not AI, and I've been studying palmistry for quite a long time, and so I've got some personal experience from many people. So I'm happy to give you answers, and if you can support me by sending stars, if you're on Facebook, if you want to support me by joining my channel on YouTube here, and that would be awesome. So we can talk about whatever you want today, but my main subject is the strong lifeline. So if you've ever looked at your hands and thought where the lifeline is, let me get my pen. So the lifeline, if you are new to palmistry, is this line that wraps it. Fail. It's the line that wraps around the ball of thumb. Sorry, my drawing fully failed there. So that's your lifeline. So if you have one that's really bold and deep and stands out more than the other lines, that has quite clear meaning. Or you might have a fine one that you can hardly see it. So today I'm going to tell you exactly what that means. And so first thing, before I go on, I will just say the lifeline doesn't predict how long you will live or anything like that. It reflects your vitality, your physical energy, the way you handle life's demands. It's about your stamina, your emotions, your mentality, your physical being. It describes your personality as well. So if you have a strong lifeline, it means that it's deep, it's clear, it's unbroken, it has a smooth, confident curve around the ball of the thumb. And it's not very common to have a perfect lifeline, but a deep, clear, perfect lifeline is a strong lifeline, and it kind of does represent a strong life in a way. So it shows someone who's naturally robust, someone who bounces back quickly from illness or stressful times. Those people can stay grounded, so they have like a strong self-esteem or strong sense of themselves. Sorry, I don't know how to say words. So English is my second language, haha. That's what I like to tell people. Anyway, so the strong lifeline is someone who is consistent, because the lifeline is consistent. So it's like logical palmistry. So if the line is consistent, the person is consistent. This line continues without deviations or any sort of flaws. So the person is reliable, dependable. You know where it's going. It's not jumping back and forth. You know that they're going in that direction. So you know that person is not going to change. Their life's not going to have many changes. They are problem solvers. They're self-motivated. They're usually ambitious and very grounded. If that lifeline goes all the way to the bottom, that to the wrist line kind of thing, that is a very grounded person. So those people are very traditional. They probably have strong roots in their family. They probably had a good family union, good parents, good parenting, a solid foundation. So look at the lifeline like a tree, and these are the roots. So if the lifeline is rooted to the base of the palm, that's strong roots. So the person is very set in their ways. They probably, like I said before, they probably recover well from stress. They have a steady inner drive. They're resilient. If they get challenges, they maintain their energy for a long period of time. So they are, they belong to generally fit people who go about their days and focus on, sticking to their routine, very routine people. So if anything does go wrong, like family issues or job changes or sudden setbacks or anything, they don't tend to spiral too much. They make a plan and they just keep going. Welcome, Erica. Yours doesn't go to the bottom, but it wraps around the thumb very long. Yes, so by wrapping around the thumb is pretty much what keep having to move my drawing board. It's in the way here. So by wrapping around the thumb, if it reaches the bottom, it's still grounded. So it's only not grounded if it doesn't reach the bottom. So say if it only wraps around so much. If it's at all floating, then it's removing that connection. Usually it's literally represents connection to your parents, your family. And I see that a lot when it's short like that is when there has been a split parents and or removing yourself from your country of birth. So you might have been forced to move, or you had to move because of your parents moving, so changing countries, that can happen as well. You're uprooted from your place of birth. So uprooting or literally being separated from your family, one of your parents. So so I've known a lot of people with this really strong lifeline. It can also go to the opposite side. So where's that pen? So in case, so it doesn't always wrap around the thumb and it doesn't always go straight down. It might sort of go out a bit, but it's still grounded. So this is an unusual, in a way, this kind of person is grounded and connected to their family, but they don't like stay with their family. It's like very travel oriented, outgoing person who likes to get out and potentially like overseas, or literally a fisherman, for instance, who likes to get out off the earth onto the water. So Erica said, very long, wrapping so much around the thumb, left my country, not close with either parent ever. Okay. Yeah, so it still would, to me, represent that you are generally grounded, and like depending on the start of the lifeline too. See, the separation here, that is a separation from family at the other end. So both ends can mean similar things. So if it wraps right around the thumb, it does usually represent someone still grounded and still believe in tradition, even though if it's not the actual being close to either parent, but just believing in general tradition of family. And potentially towards the end is the later years, you could say. So when it wraps around the ball of thumb, that represents somebody who stays close to their family, so that in your case, if you have children, that would be staying close to your children. Obviously, you don't stay close to your parents, because by the time you're aged, you probably wouldn't have parents anymore. So who have we got watching today? Please say hi. I'd like to get to know you. Where are you watching from? What time is it? What's the weather like? Yeah, so just talking about this line, I know a person with this line that I've drawn there, like an outgoing, steady, strong lifeline with hardly any diversions. It's steady color throughout, and like there's no sort of breaks and waves and deviations. So that person I know is very routine orientated. They wake up the same time every day. They maintain all the same things every day, eating at the same time. Like it all comes naturally. There's no forcing. It's like that, and they live their life sort of focused on the future, but not too far in the future. So just living week to week or month to month, but at the same time, just not really caring about everything. It's just about they know what they want, but nothing is affecting them. Like, so if they know what they want, if other shit is happening around them, it's not going to divert them from what they want. So they just continue doing what they do, even though it doesn't make them heartless or anything, but they just don't let it get to them, because they have that robust sort of inner personality. Okay, so what about the end of the lifeline on this hand? What does it mean? That conglomerate lines on the right side. Okay, so let me rub this out and we can have a look at that. Got my drawing up. Okay, so I can see here, I wonder if I can zoom it in a little bit. Let's try and zoom in on that actual, bottom of the life. I'll make it bigger. Let's go to that. Interesting, there it is. That's a bit easier to see. So there is a lot going on, isn't there? So this person does have quite a steady, it looks like it's going quite steady all along, but there are many fine little branch lines. They're little achievement lines. So this person does have many achievements in their life. So there are little things that happen through their life with their work and study and career, where they just keep advancing and advancing. And these rising lines coming from the lifeline are representing all those achievements. And so then it looks like the lifeline just continues, like the person finally finds their path. And then there are some diversions. Here is a fork, and it looks like another fork. Looks like there's several forks. So she, at some stage, will likely have a major decision. This looks like it could be travel. But the line that's on the inside is a little bit more dubious. It's like the person might have, I might have to rub it out so I can look at it better. That inside line there looks quite deep, so it looks like for a period she might be going through some sort of a divided energy. So looking at that, probably 5 to, no, more than 5, there's 7, 8, 9, probably about 8 to 10 year period where that lifeline is almost doubled. So that it's funny that there's travel line before that. So maybe she will travel, and then when she returns, that she's got a dual life happening. So more likely the travel might bring on a relationship. Here's an example. And if that relationship means that the person is living overseas, but they are still continuing like a long distance relationship, that could mean that the person is kind of living a dual life, because they may have to either travel constantly to see each other, or that she's being supported by that person, or that she has some other reason to receive support. But being on the inside, it's like a very close sister line. It doesn't look like it turns into an island. An island means that it's just her life, and her life is divided in herself. Like if she's got some mental issues that she's dealing with, or emotional issues, and then the island joins back, so it gets resolved. But this one's like a loose end. So this loose end is like a period where there is divided energy but support at the same time. But then it ends after that, like a 10-year period by the look of it. But so the main lifeline is definitely here, but she does have, oh, they're so wobbly anyway, but she does have all these other lines which can literally just represent her family, all the people in her life. They can represent the children, they can represent spirit guides, they can represent support, but it looks like there is a lot going on. So she may be very people orientated, and even though looks like the main part of the lifeline heads down, there is a piece here, a fine piece of lifeline that looks like it wraps around the ball of thumb. So that tells me that one of these lines will be obsolete. So either this one or that one will be obsolete, because she will make a decision up here where the decision making is going on after her travel, potential new partner, and then she will decide which way her life will head. Will she move to if it's this outside line, then she will likely move to this other country. If it's the inside line, it's obvious that she will stay within her roots and not leave. So because it is a future kind of prediction, you can't really know for sure how these lines will change over the years, because the person whose hand this belongs to is not that age yet. There's still many years before that situation arises. So it would be nice to know, if I catch up with this person again, if I, years later, find out what did she end up doing. So that would be good. But yeah, I often like to see people's hands like 10 years apart. If I do a palm reading, if they come back to me in 10 years, that's just awesome, because I get to, hopefully I still have their image, their photo, and I can compare that hand to 10 years later on what's changed. So yeah, keeping it interesting. It is. I agree. It's fascinating to learn about the end of the lifeline, because most of them are just guessing, like the hand we looked at last week. That was super interesting because we know that he's already passed and we know what age he made it to, etc. But we couldn't, if he did survive his issue, we could still look at his hand now, because he would have been about 63, so we could look at it again. But I think the best guide is like your own hand. And even mine, I'm still like looking at it, go, yeah, it could be this, could be that, could be this, could be that. And I won't know. I don't try not to worry about it. I won't know until I reach that age as well. But as far as the island goes, I'm happy that the island on my lifeline is right now. I'm at the end of it. So I survived. Yay. I survived the island. So my island is, well, I can't remember. I don't know. It's about here. And just recently, because I watch it all the time, just recently, this part here has broken off. There's a little gap. And I'm very excited about that, because I didn't like having an island there. But it's sort of like, it's so hard to see. It's actually smaller than that. But it's I'm just gonna try and draw it. It's like it's the letting the energy out. Like it was, this contained energy in this island of, uncertainty or duality, split, divided energy. And it's like that energy is getting released with that tiny little gap. I would say so, and more so about how I've had to cope with it. So I'm hoping that it's all behind me now, like all of it. So we'll see where it goes. But it is definitely around that time. Oh, my left hand really shows the situation as it went, like full on timing, is pretty accurate as well. So yeah, if I ever bring up my left hand on it for this live stream, we could discuss those happenings. But I did it once. I think I did bring it up. I can't remember who it was. Somebody was on there and they pointed out the certain sort of lines on my hand that I didn't even consider before. I looked at it and didn't think much of it. But yeah, it was interesting that someone else's perspective made me go, oh yeah, that's true, you know. So yeah, I've definitely had some situations that have shown up on my palms. Like some people's hands don't show all those things. I'm just trying to bring this drawing back to normal size. Where is it? There it is. Try and bring it back to normal size so we're not just looking at the corner. That'll do. Tassel, hello. Oh hi, you're from, I can't see, the writing is in dark blue with the black background. Lacey Mollis. I don't know if it's my app. I might have to change my chat screen. Certain names, it brings it up in blue with the black background, and I can't even read it. So yeah, hello, Lacey, that's all I can see. Hi Lacey from Bell Buckle TN. Nice. Thanks for joining us. Tassel. Oh, a tassel on the end. A tassel on the end is supposed to be like, yeah, when it goes. So that's can be many things. That can be weak energy. That can be all your energy divided in so many ways that you're just worn out. It can represent just being super tired and weak at old age, but it can also represent a lot going on. It can be like an explosion. So that explosion of lines can represent everything going haywire. It can represent having to move, having to start again, having to deal with family, having to deal with work, having to deal with finances, having to deal with emotions. It's like your life just goes, wow. That's if it's quite a strong one. If they're very fine little tassels and not very thick and not like an explosion, but more like hanging loose lines, then that's more like the energy weakening. So you probably still have a lot going on because it's dividing all that direct energy. Always look at the line as energy. So that direct energy is no longer continuing on this one single path. That energy is going everywhere else. So it can mean a period of illness in some cases, but most of the time it literally is just scattered energy. So the worst case scenario with something like that is if it's showing other signs on the palm. So you might be, if you're thinking that it might be, you know, illness at old age, you have to look at the rest of the lines and compare. So you would look at, is there a strong success line? Is there a strong fate line? Is there any other disturbances on the other lines that would reflect that? So apart from that, I have seen this type of line on a person who's constantly traveling. So the outer lines are more like traveling outward, and the inside lines would be more like the returning back. So it's not traveling and then staying in another place. It's like traveling and then coming back, traveling inward as well. Traveling inward can be on the mental side. You are mentally and spiritually going inward, so it could be a very spiritual seeker. I do have a section in my book about spiritual seeker lines, and I think I've got that also on my website, destinypalmistry.com. You can type in spiritual seeker lines. I'm pretty sure I've got a short article about that, so they can represent somebody who is in their later years seeking more spiritual life, and so their mind is more going inward, looking inward to their life, sort of thing. So you are a spiritual seeker. Okay, yay. So this is your hand with these tassels, I gather. That's why you're asking. Oh, so you're from Tennessee. I've never been to Tennessee. I've never been to the US. Okay, so a little shorter, more gentle, and it comes out and then connects back and then continues around the bottom of the thumb. Interesting. Interesting. So, that could be, yeah, it could be representing so many different things. I mean, like we were saying before, because it is, you know, in the later years, all these lines can change still. And so, you know, I watch mine all the time and try and figure out what's going on. And yeah, the question is always, even though we say, oh no, Lifeline doesn't tell you, you know, when you leave this earth, but it is always playing on everyone's mind. Everyone still thinks, oh, I want to live a long life. Everyone wants to live a long life. So I think that's what it comes down to. We all want to have a healthy, happy, long life. Nobody really wants to suffer or be ill. But, you know, you'd be surprised how resilient we really are. Like, holy dooly, like if you know, we'll look at my Lifeline on my left hand one of these days. And, you know, we'll do the story of my past, but based on my right hand, like I said before, with that island, people are always worried about the island too, because other palm readers say, oh, it means cancer, means you're really sick, it means this, that, and the other. And, you know, a long time ago, I was worried, I hope it's not anything like that for me, because the island's been there for a very long time. And that's why I was saying I was happy to get through that period timeline on my lifeline, and so I can confirm that it wasn't that bad. I got through it. I didn't have cancer, I didn't have disease, I didn't, I didn't die, so yeah, all swell. So yeah, any other questions? We might talk about the weak line. I've seen a weak line mainly on really quiet people. So the librarian type, they're quiet, they don't talk loud, they keep to themselves, they're very antisocial, and then they tend to have that really fine, thin lifeline. So it just goes to show that it is literally representing the person's energy and energy level. What's Erica saying? Would you say all those lines being so complicated that mean a bit of upheaval in old age in this palm? Yes, I would say. Upheaval maybe. Upheaval doesn't necessarily mean a bad thing. It may just mean that it's complicated, it's complicated. So many people have a complicated life where they may be, I don't know, it could be a married person who's also got a boyfriend or girlfriend on the side, and then they also work 2 different jobs, and then they travel as well, and then they, juggling everything in their life. So upheaval, or just simply complicated, or just taking on a lot in their life. It could be as simple as taking on the role of a caretaker for your grandchildren, or taking on a role of a caretaker for your elderly parents, or just other things in your life coming in that you might not have planned for, or if you did plan for it, well, then it's just added extra things to do, like being a babysitter to grandchildren or elderly people, or just taking on those extra roles. Maybe that person is a volunteer somewhere else as well. Maybe they've retired, but they've taken up traveling, volunteering, the many things that people do when they retire is surprising. Not everyone retires and just goes and sits in a retirement home and does nothing. Many people retire, and that's when they start to live. That's when they actually get to do what they've always wanted to do. So this change from steady, this person, doing all this study and achievements and having this strong line, and it at some point it's like, okay, that's it. That's probably the retirement age, when they retire and make these decisions to travel and to meet people, and then to have their life not be on that one track anymore. That one track of always working, steady line, steady routine, out the door, retired. I'm just going to do what I want. I'm going to go here, going to go there. I'm going to live my life here, there, everywhere. So the line is representing that energy spreading to these different places, and, causing this, what looks like havoc, because she's got lines down here as well. So it looks like havoc, but it doesn't necessarily have to be havoc or upheaval, if that makes sense. Ha. Any more questions? I wonder if we've got any Facebook people. Any Facebook people on? I think I'll leave this stream on Facebook for a while, and hopefully people will come and join my channel more. Messy end of lifeline scare you. Yeah, like I said, try not to let it scare you, because like I said, it doesn't have to be upheaval. It can be just doing what you want to do finally, you know, and being able to be free to swap and change if you want to swap and change what you're doing. So I need to get, I need to get photos of my dad's hands. My dad and my mum. I've got pictures of their hands, but they're like 10 years old. I need some fresh ones, because my mum and dad are still around and they're in their 80s, and currently my dad is going through cancer treatment, liver treatment, and hernia. So he has a hernia on his stomach. So, and he's 83, I think, and 83 or 84. And so I want to check out any sort of signs. But because he's already 84, like, okay, so when we're doing the timing on the lifeline, we generally do 40 here and 80s here, you know, so literally looking for the signs of his liver failure. He was diagnosed probably at age 79. So he would be, yeah, we'd be looking literally at the bottom of his lifeline. But there may be other signs. There may be other signs that might point to his hernia, his skin cancer, or his cirrhosis of the liver. But I definitely want to get photos before it's too late. But he's doing well. They're treating him. He's got appointments at the hospital every week, but he's getting treatment for it, and they're keeping him alive as long as possible. And he still drives a car. My mum doesn't. Mum's got diabetes, and she nearly died about a year ago, 2 years ago. She got kidney failure because she got inflamed kidneys from a bladder infection, and so she was very close. But I'd like to get her hands as well, because she's had the diabetes since she was in her 30s, and she could have, I think, got rid of it by now if she looked after herself properly, but I don't think she's looked after herself properly. But yeah, I'll see if I can get pictures of it. I'm going there. Wait, I'm going there tomorrow. I'll see if I can get them for next week. Am I still here next week? Wait a minute. What's the month? March 17. Yes. Oh, it's a bit close. Monday. I should be right for next week. I'll see how things go. I'll try and get photos of mum and dad's hands, because Yeah, just an interesting subject to um, talk about people like the health. And most people, like, if I would have looked at mum's hands when she was like 50, more than 30 years ago, I don't know how different they would be. I did not have her photos until like 10 years ago. So I will find the old photos that I've got of both mum and dad and then compare them with the new photos that I'll get tomorrow. Sounds like a plan. Hey. Yep. So that's what we're going to do. Joy, oh joy. So, yeah, well, anyway, if there are any more questions before we finish up here, anyone want to chat about anything else? Yeah, keeping it interesting. That will be public. That's going to be public for that day, but because it's personal, I will be making it, once the live stream is finished, it will become members only. So if anyone wants to see it or wants to do a replay, anyone else wanting to see it, they do have to join my channel, become one of my VIP members to see it. So, what's Erica saying? Some pink spots on his hands, any meaning? Oh, here, yeah, it's probably just circulation. Just circulation, like it might have been a little bit cold or warm or whatever temperature at the time. Generally, pink spots, yeah, they just circulation. That I don't know, looks like pen. It's ink stain. No, I don't know. Yeah, I don't recall having the conversation with this person about the dots. I don't think there was any issue, but usually things like that is just regarding the temperature of the hands, just making it's like making the skin see-through, a bit more see-through or whatever. She does have fairly fine skin. The break in the fate line at the beginning. Oh yeah. So where's my drawer? Where'd my drawer go? So you are talking about all the way here. She does have this fate line that starts at the moon. Not like that. She does have just a little break here that cruises up, changes again at 35, changes it again. She's got quite a few fate lines up there. But that's just that little break is probably just her changing her goals in life. Like, that might have started out wanting to be a nurse or something, and follow and potentially sticking to that idea, and then just changing her mind about it. So usually it's a change in career, change in goals, change in motivations, and it's not a very big change. It looks like it just slightly shifts over. It's not a huge a huge change, but very, very minimal. Yeah, so I'd say that's all it is. Like she's got up here similar break, but it's intruded by the headline, so you can't really see it. But she has a similar break around that age 35 mark where she changes her career path. She's got a wide gap between the lifeline and headline. Yes, she does. So very independent from early life. So not reliant on family. You can be close to the family but not reliant on them. So it shows very kind of a mindset where they can start doing things for themselves early age, and often happens when there is a split in the family. If the parents split, the children have to sort of learn to do more for themselves. And so in this case, yeah, she was quite young and her family split, so she was quite independent from, school age already. So like having to not rely on everyone doing everything for her, and also being kind of adventurous as well. So enjoying making those decisions without having to ask someone, and also not very dependent. So like they don't need the security of the parents, even if there was a security of the parents there, it's like they feel they don't need it. They're not constantly asking, what can I do, mum? What can I do, dad? Like more like just making decisions and becoming independent and staying very independent throughout life. That kind of gives you that personality. Very straight headline with not much declination. Yes, it is quite a straight headline. It doesn't go down towards the moon. It kind of runs across the palm. And yeah, so she's quite intelligent. She's into a lot of study. So that long headline shows that researcher in her that's wanting information all the time. Erica says, a friend of mine had this. Father was often away for work and her mother in psychiatric ward. Oh, okay. Yep. I've also got a relative. One of my stepchildren has a very big wide gap here, and yeah, she's now a manager, and she started her life with the parents splitting up, and then having I suppose to put up with a alcoholic drug addict mother for a while. Yeah. So you said she went anywhere she wanted to, no one to ask permission from. Yeah. So it would be interesting if she was born with that line. If anyone with this independent line, are they born with it? So is it literally their nature to be like that anyway? Even if she did have the parents there, I would say that she would still be doing that, So often people like that too like to travel, whether they actually travel, that they would like to at least. So yeah, and they're not the types that are going to go back to their parents and say, oh, I need money, I need this, I need that, I need to move back in. Oh, because they sort of have got their shit together. They've sorted it out without the reliance on other people, just relying on yourself. So there's still more meanings to that, and you could look very deeply into that simple separation of the headline to the mind line. But I think the main is that mind. Think of the bottom line as this is your family, this is you, and you are not intertwined with your parents because you are, your mind is separated from your family in a way. So that's one way to look at it. Okay, so she doesn't travel, but she lives in Florida, so there's not much to do there. She's out all the time. Yep, so the person I know is very strong-minded. Like I said, when she was in school, she already had a job while she's in school. She saved money while she's working at school, and she already bought a car before she even finished school. Her own car wasn't given to her by her parents or anything like that. And then she had her first car. She had her second job already when she left high school, and she studied becoming a manager, and she's just keeps moving on, and one day she'll probably own her own business as well. So Lacey says, my headline and lifeline have a gap. My parents split at 14, and there's a small stress line that connects at that age. That makes sense. That would make sense, yeah. I've also have weird situation. My mum and dad split when I was 11, but they never divorced. My dad wouldn't give her the divorce. So they lived separately for years and years. I don't know, 30 years, 40 years. And they now live together again because they both got health problems, so they need each other. So just in the last, I don't know, maybe last 5 years, they're living together again. I do not have a separate headline from my lifeline, so that's not a sign. Like my mum and dad did split up, but that's not that sign. And I think I do have another mark that might indicate that, definitely further down. But as far as the independence, you can look at it like, so if they're joined, mine are joined, and then you can look at it as when we become independent, as in when we leave our nest from our parents. It could be around the point of where the lifeline leaves the headline. So my mum is not in a nursing home. No, she never has been. My mum never never has been in a nursing home, no. She went to hospital, but that was when she had a kidney problem, but no, she's still living at home, independent. So yeah, with my lifeline, I was always very dependent on my mum mainly. My dad was in the army when I was young, so, but I stayed at home. I didn't leave home to move out until I was like nearly 26. So I hung in there. Hung in there. Didn't want to become independent too young. I didn't. Yeah. You thought you said you were going to visit one of your parents in a nursing home. Oh, no. Yeah, that was my ex-mother-in-law. Yeah. Not my mum, my ex-husband's mum. Yeah, I was very close to her. And I went to visit her in the nursing home, and she has since passed. Only about 2 months ago. So they didn't have a funeral, but I went to the celebration of her life event as well. Yeah, so yeah, not my mum. Yeah, no. Yeah, well, she was 92, I think. So not bad. 92, not pretty good odds. I think she was turning 93 actually. That's pretty good. I'm still friends with my ex's sister. That's how come I was able to still stay in touch, because I communicate with the sister-in-law. So yeah. Anyway, I have a couple of missed calls on my phone and the hour is up. Please come and join me next week for the live stream. We will be discussing those hands with the health problems, and hopefully I can have the old photo and the new photos for comparison. And join me live if you are not a member of my channel. Make sure you come and join me live so that you don't miss out. Otherwise you will have to pay for the membership to watch the replay. So all swell. Thank you very much, people, for your questions. Thanks for keeping the chat going. It was fun. And we shall see you again next week. You have a good week too. I'm looking for my ending. I can't find my ending. There it is. Yep. So yeah, catch you later. Same bat time, same bat channel. Hopefully see you next week.